Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about this light bar. I got a question in the comments which was great. I'm happy to talk about it. So this light bar is a flood spot combo. I bought it from Amazon about 6 months, maybe a year before I actually had the side-by-side. They had some great sales. I got it for like 25 bucks. I actually bought two. So let me show you what it looks like when it comes into packaging. So I just opened this box the other day. It has a piece of foam on the top, and then your light bar. Now, light bars are pretty simple. That's all it is. You can hear the two nuts rattling at the bottom, and then it's a positive and a negative. What else comes in the box is just the mounts. So you'll put this on, and then you'll mount it to those two nuts, and you'll be able to change the angle. This one looks to be 126 watts. So how you know it's a flood spot combo is the spot, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, right there is a nice smooth reflector where the flood has kind of ridges. And then also to go with this, I did have to buy the mounts. I bought a universal mount that has these rubber inserts. And it's two reasons. One, it's a little bit cheaper, and two, it keeps it nice and quiet. So another question I was asked on this is, did I wire it up myself or to have somebody wire it? With my military background, the schools I went to when I was in the military, the trade schools I went to after the military, I wired it myself. They're really easy to wire if you understand basic wiring concepts. If you don't, please have somebody wire it for you that knows what they're doing, or pay for professional installation. You can go online and buy a switch kit for 15 or 20 bucks, and they're pretty simple. Basically, you hook your positive and your negative up, everything's going to go through a relay to a fuse box or a fused source, and then you're just going to go to your switch. It's not a lot of wires to do it, but you got to understand basic electrical systems on a 12-volt system. So what I do is I actually have a box right here of all my extras, which I got my relays, I got extra winch wires. This is actually from a light switch. They usually come in a coating here. I've got all kinds of stuff in here. Extra wires for switches, extra switch covers, my true battery isolator box with some extra parts in there. So I got a little bit of everything. Extra light bar mounts, so I can mount stuff sideways. So while we're talking about that big floodlight, the reason I went with the Chinese knockoff is I don't see any value on the high-end lights. I don't do a lot of night driving. I don't do a lot of night rides. If I was out at the dunes with, my friends all the time, first of all, this isn't the right machine. But I do a lot of night riding because it's cooler. I would spend $1,000 on the big light bar, but really, my $25 light bar is just fine. I do have some other lights that I'll show you too. So I have these. I think these are 10 or 12 bucks a set. It's basically the same thing. The spot, they're not a combo, as you can tell by the reflector. And I have 4 of them. They come in sets of 2, right here. Same mounts, same everything. And if you remember my Suzuki Eiger video, I actually placed some halogen fog lights with these, and they were just awesome. And the other ones I have are these. Now these are the ones that you typically see flush mounted. As you can see, I have the holes here. So these, again, 15, 20 bucks on Amazon. They have where it looks like the housing for the side, but they've just changed it out, this front piece, and you can bolt right there. Those are the ones you see a lot of people in their bumpers, and they'll wire these into a separate switch or their backup lights. We didn't use these for backup lights. I may have actually bought these for the backup lights, but I found that the rock lights were just as good. And again, I don't do a lot of night driving. It is nice when I'm in a parking lot and I put it in reverse. People do see the backup lights come on, which will signal to them that, hey, I am backing up in side by side. So I'll be back later to show you the difference between the low beams, the high beams, the light bar, and then the high beams with the light bar and the low beams with the light bar. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back. So I know you probably can't see me in the camera lens. I want to show you the difference between the low beams, the high beams, the light bar, and the light bar with the low beams and high beams. So right here is the low beams on the Pioneer. The house is around 30 yards away, 25 yards away. I'm not quite sure. Here's your high beams. So there's a big difference there. So let me go ahead and turn those off. Here is the light bar. So light bar with the low beams, light bar with the high beams. So it definitely has a good flood pattern. So here we go. This wall is about 15 feet away. So there's your low beams. There's your high beams. There's your high beams with the light bar, low beams, and just the light bar. So if you stick your high beams on, you walk over here, I'm probably gonna blind the camera, but it is fairly bright. Pretty menacing looking coming at night. Let's go ahead and turn those off. So there you go, there's your comparison. I got the low beam LED, high beam LED, and then with the light bar. I think it does pretty good for a $25 light bar. They're probably $25 to $50 right now on Amazon. Let me know in the comments below, is this cheap Amazon light bar worth it to you? Or do you need that high-end, rigid, or whatever else is out there light bar? Me, this works just fine. Yeah, it's not as focused as others, but for what I need it for, it's great. Don't forget to subscribe, click that like button, and until next time.